Y'all entered to Donald Long house. This is my living room. This is my pride and joy. My name's Donald Long. I'm 35 years old and I have special needs.
My first experience with somebody who had special needs was a neighbor of ours who had a cousin who had a couple of hands that were withered. One arm only had one finger, and he was also deaf and couldn't speak. And so everybody in the neighborhood, the kids were just scared of him. They would run when he came at them like he was a monster or something, but I just couldn't help but be intrigued by him. That moment was a connecting point for me to know that somebody who had a special need also needed somebody who didn't have a special need.
When we started wanting to do 12th man, we were wanting to work with the football team. And so when I asked Coach Seagraves, I said, what is it you want me to do? I said, I will do what nobody else will do. And he said, I've got two brothers with special needs that somebody needs to watch. And I said, we'll do it. I said, what day you want me to do that? And he said, every day.
When we moved to Royston, there was not really a job for me, and I thought, here we are, we're going to lose that opportunity to minister to people who have special needs, but I was still connected to Special Olympics. And so the first time I did an area games, I did in Athens, and I remember seeing this guy in the 50-meter dash.
That night we was doing our own thing, me and my brother, and our aunt told her that she gonna keep us out of our house.
They let us know that they had been walking all night long because they had been kicked out of their home by their aunt on that night and had no place to live.
There we were in a predicament of what are we gonna do? We have these two special needs young men who need somebody. Their mother was able to love them only as much as she could, but she couldn't care for them. And the rest of their family didn't want the responsibility of caring for them, and there we are.
One day when I was in 6th grade, I came out of school, and my mom picked me up, and Donald and his brother Ronald were in the car, and I was kind of taken back. I was like, hey, y'all, but what are y'all doing here? And proceeded to tell me that Ronald and Donald had been kicked out of their home, and so I thought it was cool. I was a young kid. I thought, I never had a brother before. All I had was a sister.
I remember me and Denise looked at each other that night and thought, what are we gonna do? I looked around, there was just legs hanging out everywhere. There were people all over the house, and we just did it. We just, they needed a place to stay, and so therefore we opened up our home, and that's kind of how we continued that relationship.
It was, I think, I had seen heaven. It was a really great deal when I came to saw y'all.
There were some rules for us to care for them, and after a while, Ronald decided he didn't like to live within those rules, and so we kind of parted ways, and we continued to take care of Donald and made sure he was safe and in a good place. And in that process, he got his own little apartment, and he cooks for himself and everybody else that will come and join him for dinner.
There have been a lot of opportunities created for him, but it's been Donald who's walked into those open doors that have been open to him. He could have stayed back and withdrew and said, I don't want anything to do with people because of the way I've been treated. But he took another chance and he took another shot to walk through an open door.
I can remember as a kid growing up, coming to Hart County football games before I even knew Donald, was him being the mascot. And it's like, oh, there's the mascot, and then getting to know him was like, I know the mascot. That's Donald. So that's a big memory, is him on the football field, and him just retiring this year. It's bittersweet, but you look back on it, it's like he had a lot of fun doing that. When he was in that Bulldog uniform, he was a different person.
Watching him dance at the end of the games, and watching him when he put on that dog head, he was a different human being.
I was a mascot for a long, long time, and you're thinking that, you did your duty at the Hart County, and And I just figured that I wanted another student to be able to let another student to try out for it, and where they can have fun with it, and to get another kid the opportunity for they can have some more experience to be the mascot instead of being on me.
The first word that comes to my mind is others. Donald's always more concerned about others than he is about Donald.
He's an encouragement. He's a joy to be around. He makes others laugh, and you always know if Donald Long's going to be around, then you're going to have a good time.
Food. Where are we going to eat? What you having for supper tonight? He always wants to know what you're doing, what you're going to have to eat, and if he can go.
How many Krispy Kreme donuts can you eat when they're hot?
A whole box.
Sometimes it's, you know, if you're close, we always have to find a Krispy Kreme. If you're close, anywhere close, we've got to find a Krispy Kreme. So you never miss dessert when you're with Donald.
They always had this imaginary friend named AJ. And for a long time, I didn't know what AJ was, but this was AJ. And Donald even had to show us how to make an AJ. And he's had several friends, AJ, and there's been Chicago, and Chicago's the bad one in the bunch. But this is Smirchy, and this is imaginary friend, and it's almost kind of like Donald's radar.
Point and loop them. Loop them. That's it.
When they first come out, it's just like, what is this? What is this little thing? And you don't really understand until you've been around Donald for a while, and once you pull that Smirch out, your mind starts playing games with you because you think it's an actual person.
The Smirch is not, they ain't really real, but they are something when you don't got, when you think your friend running out on you can call on the Smirchies.
When it was just us four there, I made the statement, I said, now Christmas time, Donald and Ronald, we'll go get them to come and open some presents on Christmas Day, but on Christmas morning, we're gonna wake up and it's just gonna be us four, thinking that's what I needed to do, you know? And I think it was Russ, or it might have been both of you, that spoke up and said, well, if they don't come here on Christmas morning, then how are they gonna have Christmas?
I'd never liked the fact of them having Christmas alone, and from then on, it's Donald has always been having Christmas with us. Donald has made Christmas a lot more fun. He's made it enjoyable, and we've laughed a lot more because Donald's been a part of our family during those different holidays, whether it's going to Christmas at our grandparents or doing Thanksgiving or birthdays.
Yeah, go ahead.
Once you better sing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Mama Nee, happy birthday to you.
It wouldn't be a party if Donald weren't there.
You call, oh my God, Walmart and Chick-fil-A. Oh my God. Look, Rachel.
What is it?
It's Tennessee cookware.
I think one of the toughest obstacles also comes with a great victory, with having Donald. I think one of the biggest obstacles that, I think we face for people that don't know who Donald is explaining when they see us in pictures and when they see us together who Donald is.
The hard part sometimes are dealing with the disability. He has some special needs because of things that have gone on in his family. He has a developmental disability, but he also has some mental illness that goes along with that. And I think one of the hardest moments for me as his caregiver was being at the hospital and knowing that he was going to have to go to a psychiatric hospital for evaluation, and seeing somebody you love and you care about have to go through that.
Some of the stories from his growing up in his past, those things they still haunt him, and he still deals with that. There's things that he has to go through to this day because of some of the stuff he went through as a child.
It was heart-wrenching that night that he you know, he had gotten to a place emotionally where he felt like he wanted to harm himself, and so we're sitting at the hospital and, you know, trying to just tell him, you know, things are going to get better, and you know, you're going to feel better, and then watching him get in the police car and have to, you know, just have to be taken. Those kind of moments are hard because, you know, you've taken the responsibility to care for this person, but, you know, sometimes we're helping them make the hard calls. It's just tough.
Through all his upbringing and all the trouble he'd seen, he'd realized that there was a constant that could be in his life, and that was the Lord.
He's been through obstacles in his childhood, growing up, but he's never let his disability affect who he is. When I see Donald, I don't see Donald as somebody that has special needs. I see Donald as my brother. I see Donald as a friend.
And this is my new bed. I love this bed. It looks so good. This is my bedroom where I sleep at.
Night to Shine is our, we're a host church with the Tim Tebow Foundation for a Night to Shine. This will be our 3rd year, and Donald was kind of the catalyst behind that. And when he got ready to go get his tuxedo in one of our local stores, they were gracious enough to donate his tuxedo because they said he made an impact in the community, and so they wanted to just love on him because of what he'd made.
Night to Shine, when I saw Mama Denise and y'all, and I was able to walking down the red carpet.
Watching him get out of the limo the first time, seeing him in that white jacket and all dressed up, smile from ear to ear, made all of that hard work, all those connections we had to make, all of the headache we had to go through for the event. It made it all worthwhile.
We went to the Hart Elementary School. Her name was Debbie Oliver, and she said, "Donnie, what kind of?" She said, "Why you want to come to school with tore-up shoes?" I said, "Well, Mama took our whole check and did drugs that night, and that morning we didn't have no school. She didn't give no school clothes." And she said, "Well, get in the car." I said, "Where we going?" She said, "Well," she said, got my check from the school system." She said, "I'm gonna buy y'all some shoes." So she went and bought me and my brother a new pair of shoes at the Hartwood Walmart.
There have been people in his life that have poured into his life that have allowed him to overcome those obstacles that naturally present themselves to him.
I guess y'all be like, you know, like y'all say, y'all had to give people a second chance. You know, I don't know where I would be without y'all. I guess I'd be homeless. I guess I won't be living one.
Second chances are given to everybody. I think it's just what you choose to do with your second chance. And in Donald's life, he hasn't forgotten what happened to him. Therefore, his second chance is becoming more and more full.
We dedicated our home in the beginning that it would become a spot not just for us, but for others also. And then when God brought Donald into our life, realizing now to look back and we had a place for him to stay. We had a place for him to grow up.
He's part of who we are. He's part of everything that we do, and he is the connection for me to taking care of people who have special needs for the remainder of my life.
One of the things I would tell Donald is you still need to continue to see the best in people. You can't walk around afraid of what somebody might or might not do. You still have to see the best in folks.
Don't stop being who you're being, because you've been through too much to let any of those obstacles affect who you are.
You make life better, Donald, for all of us, for anybody you come in contact with. Don't ever let your past define who you're going to be. Don't ever let your limitations limit you. And don't ever quit being who you are and true to the Lord Jesus, because He made you fearfully and wonderfully. And there's nothing anybody in the world should ever want to change about you.